We're now going to pass the ball to raise money for Henry to go to Disneyland. Give generously. If everybody gives $50 a piece, I think we'll have enough.
So true.
Yeah, those tickets are expensive, aren't they? Okay, that's great. Let's keep the ball rolling. Next up is a wonderful woman, a great woman. She allowed me to do my first podcast I ever did. Yes. She's very active in the comedy scene. She put together a comedy contest last year all over LA. Very funny lady, really wonderful person. Give it up for Denise Williamson.
Thank you so much. I am so happy to be here in Tustin tonight.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm happy to be anywhere. You know, I started on a new chapter in my life. It's the old chapter. You know about that, Bob?
Yeah.
You know, and some people are politically correct and they call it the third chapter. But I'm just going to keep it real and call it what it is. It's the old chapter. And you know, there are not too many good things about being old. But the one good thing I found about being old is retirement. Honey, we no longer have to do that 9 to 5. And you know, I was so excited when I first retired because I said, wow, I finally get a chance to work on my bucket list. Until I saw the size of my Social Security check. Then my bucket list became a fuck it list. You know what I'm talking about. Cruise around the world, fuck it. Facelift, tummy tuck, fuck it. Buying groceries next week, fuck it. I'm serious, honey. If I want a good meal these days, I have to go out on a date. Yeah. But you know, when I first started thinking about retirement, my son and daughter-in-law were thinking about having their second baby. And so, wonderful person that I am, I sold my condominium, moved in with them, and became a live-in grandmother. That was before, I made that arrangement before I figured out that being a full-time grandmother is harder than having a full-time job. Now, I love my grandchildren. I do. But they test that love every single day. Now, think about it. I get bossed around by a 4-year-old. The other day, me and my little granddaughter, Natalie, we went to the little drugstore, you know, and we were going down the aisle with our little cart and stuff, and she said, Grandma, I want some ice cream. And I said, okay, sweetie, we'll get you some ice cream. And we went over to the little ice cream bar, whatever you call it, and the guy back there, and I said, oh, we'll have 2 vanilla cones, please. And I thought Natalie would be happy. No, she says, Grandma, I don't like vanilla. I want chocolate. I said, well, when you get a job, we'll get the kind you like, okay? You have to talk to them like that. Because you know that saying, what do they say? The grandparents take the children and spoil them and give them back to their grandparents? I mean, to their parents? Well, see, that only works with part-time grandparents. If you're a full-time grandparent, you just screwed yourself because you can't get away. Yes. You know, when you're trying to get away from the snow and the cold weather, they call you a snowbird. But if you're a live-in grandparent and you're trying to get rid of your get away from your grandchildren, you know what they call you? Out of luck. It's not happening. It's not happening. And you know, I'm sorry, not my granddaughter, my daughter-in-law, Becca, is Samoan. And she wants to, you know, continue the Samoan culture and heritage with the children, which she should. And she talks to them in Samoan. And my little grandson, Major, he just turned 2 years old. And God bless him, he is a handful. In fact, if you look in the dictionary next to terrible twos, you'll see his picture there. You'll see his picture. Yes. And so all day long in our house, you hear, awa, awa, Major, because awa in the Samoan language means no or stop. So when he's climbing on the table, you hear, awa, awa, Major, awa. Or when he's pulling on the drapes or trying to use it as, tissue or something, awa, Major, awa. Or when he's trying to, decapitate or drown his sister's little dolls in the toilet or something, awa, Major, awa. And all that is fine, except the last time we went to a Mexican restaurant, by the time we left, there were 17 glasses of water on the table. I'm telling you. And what is it with these small children and repetition? My granddaughter Natalie wants me to read books to her all the time, but if she finds one book that she really likes, I have to read it over and over and over and over again. And Major, he likes me to sing nursery rhymes with him and his little imaginary friend. But how many times can the itsy bitsy spider climb up the water spout? Honey, I finally told him that the spider was in the hospital with a case of gout. I didn't know what else to do. Because you see, when you have a job, when you have a regular job, if someone's mistreating you, then you have recourse, right? But there isn't an HR department for grandparents who are forced to watch cartoons all day long, every day. In fact, I'm thinking about starting a grandparents union, so we can enforce our rights. Like if the family gets multiple invitations on a Saturday afternoon, I think that the grandparents should get the tickets to the jazz festival and the parents have to go to the 5-year-old birthday party. Am I right?
Yeah.
Am I right? We just get mistreated. We just get mistreated. And grandchildren have no regard for personal space or privacy. You see, when you have a job, you probably have, an office with a door, or at the very least, you have a cubicle with a desk, and you can put your little personal belongings in there and stuff, and nobody bothers them. Not so with grandchildren. Grandchildren think everything you own also belongs to them. My little granddaughter Natalie comes in my room anytime she gets ready. She turns on the computer and starts watching her little videos and stuff. She's amazing. She's in preschool. She's only 4 years old, and she knows how to operate my computer. She's very smart. She's very smart. I think she learns something new every day. Which means that, we're a lot alike because I forget something new every day. And Natalie and I have become really close, And in fact, like at night sometimes, I'll hear her come sneaking into my bedroom, and she crawls up into my bed, usually after she's peed in hers. Yeah. But I have a wonderful time with my grandchildren, and I know my time is almost up, but I do want to leave you with one thing. Please be careful what you say and do around your grandchildren, because they are paying attention. The other day, Natalie and I were driving down the street, and I don't remember where we were going, but this lady comes barreling down, and she whizzes, and she cuts me off. And as any self-respecting grandmother would do, I flipped her the bird, and I gave her a piece of my mind. But then it was over with, I went and we went on our way. But when we got to the next light, Natalie looked at me with this puzzled look on her face, and she said, "Grandma, how did you know her name was Bitch?" I'm Denise Williamson. Thank you so much.
Denise Williamson. Give it up for her. Very, very fun lady.